Paragraph 15, with an overwhelming yes vote for Southern Cameroons to achieve independence on 1st October 1961, considering further that the Republic of Cameroon voted against union with the Southern Cameroons in United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1608 of 21 April 1961, when the matter was put to vote and thereby declared its intention to annex and not to join. Recalling that in 1959, the President of the Republic of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo, swore before the United Nations that Cameroon had no expansionist ambitions, that they were not annexationists, and that they were prepared to enter into association with the Southern Cameroons on the basis of equality. Recalling that by virtue of the transfer of power from the United Kingdom to the Republic of Cameroon on 30th September 1960, the territory of the Southern Cameroons was therefore never decolonized as per United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1514 of 14 December 1960, and that Cameroon is therefore holding the territory simply as an executor de sanctor. Considering that the alleged 1961 federation between the Republic of Cameroon and the Southern Cameroons was never a true federation adopted by the parliaments of both sides, but the mere amendment of the Constitution of the Republic of Cameroon that was imposed on the Southern Cameroons. Recalling further that Article 47, Section 1 of the imposed federation promised the indissolubility of the federation to the Southern Cameroonians, but the federation was abolished a few years down the road in violation of the Constitution and through the fraud of asking both federated states to vote instead of limiting the vote strictly to the Southern Cameroons. That profiting from the transfer of power by the United Kingdom to the Republic of Cameroon, the Republic of Cameroon has since systematically proceeded to annex and occupy the Southern Cameroons by various fraudulent and illegal methods. Considering the fundamental incompatibility between the people of Ambazonia and the people of the Republic of Cameroon, who do not have the same educational system, do not have the same legal system, do not have the same colonial history, do not have the same state culture, do not have the same language, do not have the same outlook to life or mentality, do not share the same values, and virtually disagree on every aspect of running the state. Considering that under Cameroon's illegal occupation and its external domination of Ambazonia, Ambazonians have been banned from peaceful assembly as a people. The French language has been imposed on them. Their educational and legal systems are being destroyed, and they are prohibited from even questioning the terms on which Cameroon is ruling their territory. Considering that the people of Ambazonia and their own state, with all state structures, House of Assembly, House of Chiefs, Judiciary, Executive, Premier, Constitution, and ruled themselves in a multi-party democracy until 1961, and in fact conducted an election in 1959 in which power changed hands without any rancor.
Next speaker, please, and introduce yourself. Thank you.
So, my name is from Antigua. Considering the previous peaceful actions of Ambazonians to get Cameroon to abandon its illegal occupation of the territory of Ambazonia, including the Abuja High Court case of 2002, the Banjul Commission ruling of 2009, considering the fundamental principles of African integration which vehemently prohibit illegal occupation, annexation, and colonization of one people by another, and insist on the peaceful resolution of all conflicts, recalling Agenda 2062-63 of the African Union and its promise to silence guns in Africa by 2020, considering Article 19 and 20 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which assert the absolute right of every people to self-determination and prohibit the subjugation of one people by another, considering Article 4B of the African Union Constitution Act and the OAU Cairo Declaration of 1964, which are emphatic on the fact that the only boundaries recognized by the AU to its member states are the boundaries they inherited from colonization on their day of independence. Considering that the Republic of Cameroon achieved independence on the 1st January 1960 without the territory of Southern Cameroon being a part of it or included in its inherited boundaries. Recalling that there has never been any treaty between the two parties for border adjustment in compliance with Article 102 sub 1 of the United Nations Charter. Mindful of the declaration of the independence of the former British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia on the 1st October 2017, mindful of the interim constitution of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia of 12th of June 2018, mindful of the Amba Peace Plan, local government and counties reforms of 2019, empowering our people of the grassroots to administer themselves, we, the people of the former British Southern Cameroons, declare and adopt the following resolutions. 1. People's empowerment of their interim government. The Constituent General Assembly, GA, at ASSC 2019 reaffirms their continuous and unflinching recognition and support of their interim government, IG, as the legitimate representative leadership body of the people of Ambazonia, irrespective of their political alignment. Hence, recognizing His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabe as President and Acting President His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, leading the people of Ambazonia in this capacity, as he and our leaders languish in dungeons of La République du Cameroon. The General Assembly, therefore, cautions the people of Ambazonia against veiled misrepresentation of the President presently in jail by individuals with the aim of fostering malicious personal and political agendas. 2. Empowering the IG functional status. Harmonize and galvanize our collective efforts through perpetual grassroots mobilization, collaboration, and participation to ensure that the master plan we have refined through spirited deliberations during this conference will sustain our restoration quest until we achieve our prime objective of total freedom in our homeland, Ambazonia. 3. Amba Peace Plan, defending your country, LGA by LGA. Strengthen our gains this far in this inadvertent war declared on us, and to collaborate extensively with all willing stakeholders in order to mitigate our weaknesses vis-a-vis collective responsibility in terms of inclusive decision-making, management, and accountability as stipulated by Ambazonian Peace Plan, APP. Empowering internal and external communication. Defending your county LGA by LGA bill. Every tier of government shall delegate a liaison officer to the central government department and to the spokesperson of their ground zero functional units. This will facilitate synchronization of decisions and policies between the different arms of government, hence harmonizing the content of our communications and communications in one voice. 4. Inspiring and empowering country and regional coordinators. A. Creation of the Department of Immigration and Naturalization. This department will be headed by a secretary, and every country or region in the diaspora with an accredited country/regional coordinator will take up the functioning of an IG administrator as a director of immigration and naturalization, and will be charged with coordinating immigration and naturalization affairs in their various countries.
Next speaker, please.
It's loud enough. It's loud enough. I don't need to speak. Hide some of those things.
I'm Reverend Dr. Hassan from the United States of America.
What's your county?
From Maryland County. Also, countries and regional coordinators will henceforth be take up the roles of the main facilitators in continuously setting up of local government areas, LGS, structure in their respective countries and regions, ensuring that their constituents participate actively both financially and constructively in the sustainability of the various LGS. C, be the chief function mobilizer in their community, explaining the need for financial engagement in order to sustain this revolution, and ensuring that each constituent regularly pays his or her monthly citizens to the central treasury. D, refocus in their roles as the chief diplomat in their respective countries and regions, which entails using in-depth knowledge of government of their host countries and regions in galvanizing diplomatic support for Ambazonians, as well as initiating bilateral relationship in harmony with the positions of the interim government. Ambazonians in the diplomatic, economic, and cultural, technical, and education domains. 5. On diplomatic positions, A, national diplomatic committees, NDC, shall be created under the leadership of Department of Foreign Affairs, DFA, whose objective will be centered on advising initiating, coordinating, overseeing diplomatic ventures at all levels. These committees shall bring together all existing groups and NGOs undertaking diplomatic activities for Ambazonians under one umbrella. The NDC will comprise of experienced diplomats, consultants including the consulting firms, Foleyhawk and other friendly international institutions or NGOs. NDCs shall liaise, coordinate and support regionals and country coordinators in all diplomatic initiatives. Accountabilities and transparencies. A, the GA of ASSC emphasized the need for more accountability and transparency for incorporating financial representatives with expertise for that domain from the LGAs to form a board of financial experts attached to the Department of Treasury. The proposals that funds disbursed by authorities concerned beyond a threshold amount should be approved by the RC. Will be sent as a bill to be adopted. B, recommended that a quarterly financial report be presented to the appropriate supervisor body. Establishing a Department of Economic Investment and Natural Resources and a Department of Treasury. The Department of Economic Investment and Natural Resources shall be responsible for economic aspects, and Department of Treasury shall be responsible for the financial aspect. To reinforce accountability, the Treasury Department Board will comprise of all elected counties / LGAs financial expert / representatives as mentioned above. The rules of the Secretariat for these two new departments, Economic / Investment and Naturalization Resources, and the Department of Treasury will be elaborated in their various terms of references to avoid any duplications and interference. This reform will be guaranteed managerial efficiency and effectiveness. Six, strengthening and building strong institutions. The GA means General Assembly, condemns the problem of recurring leaks on government confidential information on social media and recommended the leadership to follow due procedure to identify perpetrators. Leadership was also advised to sanction proven culprits of such vice, as well as melt severe sanction on any recalcitrant top government officials, undermining this revolution by their actions. B, cabinet reshuffle. The GA emphasized the necessity to overhaul the present cabinet of the IG in order to put fresh oil in the government machinery in terms of skills and reinforce resourcefulness. The acting president will, as a matter of urgency, form a new government made up of technocrats and selfless, resourceful Ambazonians willing to serve so as to rebuild the trust between the IG and the Ambazonian people, both on ground zero and the diaspora. D, enlarging the Restoration Council, RC, to include LGAs and counties. The RC shall be enlarged, making it more representative and ensuring that it effectively serves Ambazonians as a true quasi-legislative body, as stipulated in the interim constitution of Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Article 14 and 15. This reform is necessary, taking into consideration the present dispensations of LGS and counties hence. A, an expedient procedures will be put in place to enlarge the Restoration Council to include 2 elected representatives of counties as envisaged in the LGS by LGS Peace Plan Program. B, these elected bodies of representative ACAL members of the council will then elect a bureau comprising of a chairperson, a secretary general, etc. That will lead the ROC, Article 15 and 6. 7, self-defense. Self-defense. The constituent assemblies of ASSC emphasize the importance to provide the necessary provisions and logistic support to our brave fighters via funding the APP Amber Peace Plan through our respective LGS, while efforts to reconcile restoration forces in the various LGS should continue. Reiterate the needs to share intelligence and strategies among restoration forces in the various LGA. An inter-county/LGS collaboration to reinforce joint defense operation was also deliberated. The GA resolved to set up a joint defense force. This will curb the cultivations of indiscipline, warlords, as we direct our energies to our main enemies, the barbaric regime of La Republique. Creation of the Department of Defense and Security. A Department of Self-Defense and Security, DSD, shall replace the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. The department will be customized to manage the self-defense aspect of LGs and counties. Commanders of all 13 counties shall constitute the National Defense Council, NDC, under the command of DSD. E, to this effect, the Amber Situation Room, ASR, will be created, whose main goal shall be to assess the ongoing situation in Ground Zero. On a daily basis, the compositions and the functioning of ASR will be laid out in details in its terms to references. F, Ambazonian Self-Defense Council shall be upgraded to Ambazonian Self-Defense Advisory Council, ASDAC. The advent of the LGA by LGAs, county by counties, dispensations makes the present setup of the Ambazonian Self-Defense Council redundant. So ASC is redundant now. To this effect, an upgrade advisory council debate Ambazonian Self-Defense Advisory Council will be constituted mainly of 2 self-defense members delegated from each of the 13 counties. These members should be strategists. ASDAC shall advise the President and DSD on matters of defense strategy. ASDAC will be answerable to the President as CIC. ASC will have a working session with the DSD for the smooth implementation of this reform. Gender issues. Gender issues. ASSC GA unanimously recognized the bravery of our female forces on ground zero and the effective roles some Ambazonian women are playing in this revolution. More Ambazonian women were encouraged to join the revolutionary train by taking effective part in our restoration quest in all phases. It was recommended that women should be represented in all aspects of the revolution, especially in leadership roles, as a way of empowerment and ensuring gender balance.
Oh, okay. So next speaker, please, could you introduce yourself?
Speak louder.
We're not in the program. Silent, please.
No, I have to take it away.
I'm Ata Akam Chewanka from the Great Mesan County. Still on gender issues, C, the creation of a Directorate of Women Affairs was recommended, whose main goal will be sensitized, encourage, empower more Ambazonian women vis-a-vis our restoration quest. 9, effective strategies for resource mobilization. E, compulsory independence tax, the CIT. The General Assembly of the ASSC proposed the implementation of a compulsory citizenship levy to $10 monthly, and unanimously mandated the IG to pass a bill in the Restoration Council through the judiciary, rendering the payment of citizenship levy obligatory to all Ambazonian citizens in the diaspora, as well as defining sanctions and privileges. F, we therefore appeal to every Ambazonian, especially in the diaspora, to constantly meet up with their financial obligations to provide funds for the smooth functioning of the interim government through monthly citizen levy. G, encourage all Ambazonians to register via AmbaStrong and obtain a reference code for the documentation of their contributions in our revolution, which will be effective as from the 1st of May 2019. H, the General Assembly also realized the necessity to constantly fund the People's TV, ABC, Amba TV. It was resolved that all 61 LGAs will be requested to pay a monthly TV tax, as agreed by the Department of Communications, LGAs, and ratified by the Restoration Council. 10, on ground zero. The General Assembly at the ASSC recognized with pain the enormous sacrifice of brave restoration forces and our people on ground zero are undergoing as dictator Paul Biya and his genocidal squads continue their mayhem on our people. It was resolved that self-defense should always be the priority during this phase of our revolution, and that every financial effort should be geared towards equipping our forces with the necessary means to defend our vulnerable people on ground zero, as well as to cater for our refugees, the independent and the internal displaced people, and our people in jail. also to empower our common resolve to prosecute this war that was declared upon the peace-loving people of Ambazonia on the 30th of November 2017 by President of the Republic of Cameroon, Mr. Paul Biya, and that has been exacerbated by the ongoing genocide on our people on Ground Zero, perpetrated by the brutal La République du Cameroun forces to its logical end, which is freedom of our people. A, call on the parliamentarians and senators of Southern Cameroonian descent to immediately resign from the colonial parliament in Yaoundé of La République du Cameroun because they do not represent the people of Ambazonia in such a parliament. B, school resumption. Appeal once more to parents to assess the security situation of each local government area or county before deciding whether to take the risk of sending their children to school. C, banning all sociocultural and sporting activities, prescribed all sociocultural and sporting activities organized by the colonial regime of La République du Cameroun on our territory. 11, eliminating power tussle and money mongering. A, the concept of the shared governance in the Amber Peace Plan, APP, bill will substantially contains the money mongering situation. Other measures will be added. The General Assembly generally condemns unbridled power tussle aimed at destabilizing the people's interim government, while encouraging every Ambazonian to join their local government areas, counties, and participate in collectively constructive leadership aimed at liberating homeland, Ambazonia. 12, establishing a constitutional council. The General Assembly of ASSC expressed the need for a constitutional body. In this regard, a constitutional committee shall be established. This body will define membership, which will come from Ambazonian constitutional law experts around the world. The terms of references, duration, and department of affiliation of a constitutional committee will be spelled out. It was resolved that any constitution that has been adopted should be given a minimum of 2 years before any proposed amendment until we reach Boya. 13, collaboration. A, the interim government will continuously remain open to proposals for collaborations and reconciliation with any leadership collaborative platforms, leaders of religious bodies, leaders of nationalist groups, leaders of trade unions, leaders of human rights, leaders of civil society organizations, and etc. B, collaboration can be made effective upon agreement through a memorandum of understanding. A memorandum of understanding and with due and absolute priority safeguarding the interest of all Ambazonian citizens and motherland Ambazonia, as well as to defend the lives and dignity of our people. C, the Constituent General Assembly at ASSC strongly reaffirms its total and unreserved support to the people's interim government and empower the interim government to always engage in any collaboration through memorandums of understandings in its capacity as the mandated government of all Ambazonians, yes, and nothing less.
Yes.
Yes.
D, constructive criticisms by internal stakeholders are welcome. But blatant rumor mongering based on unverified social media propaganda aimed at sabotage and spearheaded by blind surrogacy were unanimously condemned. Conveners agreed to schedule the next ASSC in 1 year time, hopefully in Boya.
Amen. Say amen to that.
Amen.
Through the above resolutions, we, the people of Ambazonia, hereby pledge our renewed and unrelenting resolve to free our motherland, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, and may God bless Amazonia.
Okay, just finish it.
This document is validated this Saturday, the 14th of April, in the year of our Lord 2019, in Berlin, Germany, by the following ASSC rapporteurs. The names will be added onto the document. Okay. Resolutions adopted by the representatives of the 61 local government areas, LGAs, of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. These resolutions, as adopted by the people of Ambazonia, are hereby handed to the acting president for consideration and due processes required for its total implementation, done on the 14th of April 2019 in Berlin, Germany.
By acclamation, adopted. By acclamation, adopted.
All right, thank you.
Chai, you want to stay forever to do it?
Okay. You don't need to follow me again. You don't need to follow me again. I mean, for RSC forum. I mean, just wait to put my picture.
Oh, the river.
Okay, now we'll get it from her.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye now.
Yeah, you go in. Comrade, same journey. That's better.
Say Bobo.
Bobo.
Yeah, boy.
Hey, Bobo. Oh!
No.
Oh,
Make down the drop.
Bobo. Bobo, same journey.
Bro, you get strong, my she's strong past you. You don't
Then one person has it.
Okay, so we have all the copies here in one package.
Yeah. Then one of your hands is up.
So on behalf of the 13 counties of Ambazonia, we are handing these resolutions to the interim government for immediate implementation.
On behalf of the interim government, I acknowledge the receipt of these resolutions and all your deliberations and recommendations, and I want to assure you that we shall take every detail into consideration, and we shall act swiftly to make sure that we get to Buea sooner than later. Thank you very much for your great work that you have done.
Ambazonia rising to fall no more.
Ambazonia rising, rising, rising. Ambazonia rising to fall no more.
Ambazonia rising to fall no more.
Amazonia rising, rising, rising. Amazonia rising to fall no more.
Amazonia is rising to fall no more.
Amazonia rising, rising, rising. Amazonia rising to fall no more.
Amazonia rising to fall no more.
Amazonia rising, rising, rising. Amazonia rising to fall no more.